Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Buyer's Remorse with Darren and Justin.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
On Buyer's Remorse, we make each other play games that are sitting untouched or unloved in each other's libraries for 60 minutes. What game did I find for you?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Very interesting one. You made me aware of Peekaboo. It looked really interesting. It's very cheap, if I remember. And I think that I got it for both of us. For you, I guess this means this will be the one this year that I can say that I bought for you and had you play. Even though I got this a while ago, I think.
It's probably even more than a year ago, to be honest.
I've not tried it. This is your first time trying it, yes?
Yeah.
It looks very interesting, but you didn't play it with me, so I am curious to see how you played it, because I kind of thought this would be something that we'd end up having to play together if we played it for the podcast. Tell us about Peekaboo. What is this game for people who don't know?
All right, so Peekaboo is a genre of game that seems like it might have become popular back in 2006, maybe even before that. It was originally, maybe not originally, but it was made popular in that time through Gary's Mod. So they had a mod of this where you could hide as a prop. So there's a whole genre called prop versus hunter or something like that. There's another one, it's actually called Prop Hunt, which is another kind of source engine looking thing where you run around with a crowbar basically and tap on stuff to see if there's someone there. Garbage cans slowly running away from you, gone off to sprint. I found a couple of other ones. Peekaboo is, just another one of those games. It was released in 2019, so it's pretty young. It was, the base price is $6, but it goes for $1, which I'm assuming that's probably what you picked it up for.
I suspected it was something like that, like $1 or $1.50. It was something very cheap. If I was going to buy it for both of us, it was probably going to be very cheap.
Yeah. And the developer is Red Aster Studio. So it's a really cutesy looking kind of low poly, cartoony feel game. And you run around, one group is the hunter, one group is the props, find each other.
So the props can be anything that would fit into the map. So if, at least from the trailer, it looks like, you might be a brick or a chair or a box.
Yeah.
And you can move around as the prop.
Yes, which is hilarious. Especially when you're sitting there as a prop just watching some barrel getting chased, some basket of fruit being chased by a pirate through a Viking village. It's pretty funny.
And it moves as the prop, right? You don't have legs that pop up and walk
it just
around.
slides along the ground, or maybe if you fall over at some point, you kind of right yourself up, and then you just hover across the ground, kind of thing. But you can jump as well. You can jump.
Interesting. Okay, I did worry a bit that with some of the props you could be, that you might fall over and then your mobility was gone.
Right, yeah, no, it's not too unkind in that way, but.
Well, let me ask you this, because I don't understand how the game really works in the fact that it's meant to be a game.
Right.
If I'm a prop and I just need to hide, then I should just never move and win the game.
It sounds like a good idea, but...
Yes, this is what I'm waiting for. What makes me have to move? Is there a time limit for how long you can hide?
No, you can stay in the same... I mean, if you're watching my video footage from last night when I played this, I'm just parked in the water under a boat. And then I stayed there for the whole 4 minutes of the match. So it can get quite boring. And I think that's what drives people to move, is that they get bored, they get impatient. So they're like, I want to go and see where the action is. So they go out and they chance their luck. I don't know if you get more points for getting in danger, because there's a whole level up system as well. You get XP after each round and stuff. So, we'll get into the controls in a minute of the different commands that you can do. But I guess there's some kind of level up system where you can buy new perks and stuff.
Okay. Is there also a ranking system?
Yeah, so I mean, in the game, I managed to get to like level 5 or something like that. So I'm still a noob in there, but
Well, how many levels are there?
I've got no idea. The only other problem was that I didn't get a chance to play many maps. I only got to play one in my hour because the games were quite long. I don't know if that is by choice or if I was just on repeat, but I never even got to the end of a match. Like it seemed to be out of 10 points, and we got right up to like it went the longest way. It was like 9-7 at one point. And then the host left, so I got booted. The game did offer me the chance to take over, and I did, but I was maybe a second too slow, and everybody just bailed, so I had like 5 people. I'm sure it would build up again. That's one of the pitfalls of this game: is beggars can't be choosers. There's a lot of the servers are locked. They're private servers with friends. I only found 2 or 3 that were open, and I could only get into one. So how it works is you got 4 or 5 minutes. You start off. I think you start off. Everyone but one is a prop, and so everybody gets a chance to hide because that's the fun part. And then the hunter, you have a gun, and so the hunter has 2 skills. The hunter has bombs, which is just on a cooldown, infinite bombs. You just toss them, and then you got to wait maybe 20 seconds to get the next one, which is a good kind of splash damage AOE kind of area. There's a bit where there was like a market stall. You just toss a bomb in there and then see if there's someone there. Or you got a pistol, and basically the whole game is just you running around shooting barrels, shooting baskets of fruit, shooting drying fish, shooting a campfire. It's just silly. So yeah, you don't want to stay in the same place. Another reason you don't want to stay in the same place is because of the way that the match is kind of tilted. Everyone starts off as a prop in the beginning. So as you get discovered, you change into a hunter. So there's no idle time. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, I'm out of the game. I've got 4 minutes to wait now until the next match. Oh, that's a lot of fun.
Right.
So what they've done as a update fix is they've been like, okay, well, as soon as you get caught, you're now a hunter. So if you've been parked next to someone else and they've seen you, and then they wander off and they get killed, it's like, oh shit, they're coming back for me, aren't they? So you've got to move. But yeah, so it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows though. Like, I did get off to a bit of a rocky start. I thought we were going to have to play this game together because I just could not get a room for a while. And then all of a sudden I got one. And my room was a Viking village. And so it was pirates versus Vikings. And the Vikings were like, you could run around as a Viking, and then you got like 20 seconds to choose your prop. And so if you haven't chosen by then you're probably going to get shot quite easily. My next problem was I don't know why, the default is borderless window for the map. My cursor kept on going off screen, and so I couldn't move, I couldn't shoot. If I was chasing someone, I'm dragging my mouse around, and then it's like, what? I'm not moving. It's like, oh, because my mouse is off screen. I don't know why I didn't do it. I do this all the time. I'll be like, oh, I'll get used to it. Just go in and change it, Darren. Jesus. So I kept on having this borderless window problem, which is fixable in the options. It's totally on me. Yeah, so there's a bunch of keys, a bunch of power-ups. If you are a hunter, you've got, like I said, you've got grenade. You've also got like this radar ping where you send out this blue circle that goes, I don't know, a couple of meters around you. I never actually got it to work. I never actually found anyone that way. It's much better just to go around just pumping bullets into random objects. And if you play as the props, then you've got a smoke bomb. So if you're getting chased, you can release this big cloud of gas, which is quite useful. And you've got obviously the ability to change into other objects.
That was what I was going to ask. So you can change at will whenever you want to?
It's on a cooldown. So you basically change.
Well, you wouldn't want to change a million times. It'd be pretty obvious that, hey, that box just turned into a fish.
Yeah. So the way that they've done it though is a bit, I don't know, it's not how I would have done it, but again, that's why I'm not a game developer. And that is so if you're a box, let's say you're a box and you're being chased, so you duck around a corner and then you see a log, like a chopped firewood. You can become that. The box will then disappear and then you are now that chopped firewood. So it doesn't leave behind any trace of you. I would have liked to have left behind traces, because then you could leave red herrings all over the place. You know, you could have like old hiding places, and then I don't know, but maybe they've done it better this way.
I think, at least my suspicion would be that they would love to do that, but that's going to be a much more intensive design.
I think it would really slow the game down, because you'd have
everybody like you. You'd have 1,000 things
exactly.
on the screen.
Yeah.
Remember when you were talking about Beast Battle Simulator?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be like that. Suddenly there's 4,000 boxes on the screen, and not everybody's computer can handle that.
Yeah. So imagine someone do that. But it's also quite good, because then they maybe think, oh, he's gone around the next corner. And that often is what happens. They run right past you, and you're like, okay, I got away with that one. Yeah, so there are other skills you can get. I didn't work out how to spend skill points, but one of my hunter kind of colleagues, he had, or she had, this kind of red spider web thing that it just kept on like these spider webs were coming out of it. It was almost like she had laid a trap, or he had laid a trap. And maybe the props find it hard to move through that area, and then it's easier to shoot them, because they are small, so it's quite hard to hit them.
So you don't have a choice to be something huge then?
Nah, and that's the good thing. Well, one good thing about the game that I liked was you can't just choose the same object over and over again. It's almost like they've got a different focus of objects each round. So I think everybody gets assigned a type of object that they can be. Because I was a sandbag the first time, and I was like, oh, I want to be a sandbag again. That was fun. And then it's like, no, you can't be a sandbag. Be a barrel. I'm like, oh, I want to be a barrel. So yeah, some of them are quite big, but I think it also affects your hit points. So that's another thing. You've got hit points. And so if you're a sandbag, you've got like 10. If you're a barrel, you've got 60. And on the map, there's two basic kind of, I don't know what to call them, like Quake Arena style power-ups, you know, like you kind of run through them and they boost you, like that kind of thing. So you got the kind of blue arrows that kind of make you go twice as fast, and then you've got the red cross power-up things that give you back health. So if you are a sandbag, you can get more health, but that requires moving out way into the open where everyone's just like, hey, there's a moving sandbag over there.
Well, how does the hit points work when you switch from object to object then? Because if you had 60 as a barrel, but 10 as a sandbag, and you had lost 30 as the barrel, do you start with 5 as a sandbag?
That is a good point. I don't know. I didn't take note of that. I should have, but it was too frantic in the game to notice. Here's one thing though that I just thought was hilarious is you got another power up as a prop, and that is taunt. And so if you press C, you can like, if there's a guy next to you, you can fart or something like that, or there's like a penny whistle, like, or there's like a doing spring sound. I'm guessing, they've even got like a Wilhelm scream in there as well. I'm guessing to flex on your enemies, maybe the more you taunt, the more XP you get. It's got to be something like that, or it's just really just in there for shits and giggles, man. It's just something that they've just thrown in there, like, yeah, that would be funny. Why not? I don't know. I don't know. I got progressively worse as the game went on because I get more confident. So my startup game, I actually won a few rounds. Well, no, my team won a lot of rounds, but I survived a couple of rounds, and then I started getting really cocky. There's one point where I'm just like trailing behind one of the pirates, and then every time he turns around, I'm just like, oh, I'm not moving. And then he turns around, and then he's like looking for, and I kind of edge up behind him, and then eventually he must have heard me or something. He just turns around. There's this crate sitting in the middle of the place. He's like, "You weren't there before." Pow, pow, pow. Oh yeah. And there's a lot of like good comedy bits in this game that just happen that kind of naturally. They're not programmed. It's because of the multiplayer kind of aspect. So I'm playing maybe as a sandbag or something small, and I find this really nice little hiding spot. And I'm just like, this is great. I'm camping here for a while. And then a pirate comes. And then suddenly there's 5 objects around you that all just jump away. It's like everyone has been hiding in the same place. And it's like you all just scatter like cockroaches. You think you were being really smart getting into this hiding spot. And then you realize, oh, there's 10 other guys here.
Well, that could be an issue, right? Where they will
Well, they could
move.
just bomb you. Yeah, they could just bomb and like team kill everybody.
Well, I think that was my suspicion anyway, for the way the taunt is probably used the most, is friends trying to get their friend caught.
Mm.
Taunting, moving behind the friend, taunting, and then trying to get away before they also get caught.
Mm. I did see the taunt being used as a way like to protect their friends though as well, because there was a pirate coming, and I was on a pier at this point just watching everything. This is one of the rounds that I survived, and I'm just watching this pirate chase a barrel of fruit. And then there's like 3 items, and they're all 3 props, and they're just all jumping behind and taunting and stuff like, oh, look at me. You know, they're trying to draw attention away from his prey kind of thing. Pretty funny. So there's like in-game chat. I didn't really use that too much. I didn't use it at all, to be honest. But there's in-game chat. There's nice menu for what the commands are. It's got a good interface, and it's really easy to learn. It's a really kind of, I'd almost class this as a casual game. It's no Dead by Daylight, that's for sure. My only one grief, I guess, is the camera view. So, but it's to be expected in a game like this where you can get flush with objects and stuff. So when you are in a weird corner, the camera just doesn't pan, so you can't see around you. So some hiding spots are actually quite bad. The good hiding spots have a bad point in that way, because you find a good hiding spot, but the camera it won't allow you to look around you because it's so tight, which is a problem, but that's a problem with all games. That's just a problem with usually the engine that you're working with. And yeah, another problem, and this is not the game's fault or my fault, I just had a good hour playing with this team that I'd found, and I didn't want to lose them. But if you see the trailer, there's like such cool maps. There's like a cyberpunk map, there's a space station, there's like a modern normal street with like a playground. There's a farm, a factory, a Japanese feudal time map where you can run around as a vase, and it's really cool. And there's lots of, the hunters are always different as well. So in the street level, I think the cops are like the hunters, and yeah. So I just didn't get a chance to play any of those, which is a bummer because I wanted to, but it's part of the draw, isn't it? So I'll probably end up going back, which will be your next question, I guess.
Getting to it. But the first question I'd have is, did you try to set up a room yourself to see how that worked? Like, I'm just curious about things like how many people can be in the room at a time, or if there's a time limit set, if you even looked at that, or if you were just having so much fun that you just played the whole hour. The
menu system was like, okay, so to get into the menu, yeah, you've got 2 options. You can host a room, which I didn't try. I should have just for science, but I didn't. And so the server select room is, I only had about 12 different rooms that I could choose. And like I said, honestly, I'd say 75% of them, if not more, were locked. You know, the little padlock thing. So they were secure rooms that you need a password to get into. The round that I played was, it seemed to vary. Sometimes there was 14 props. Sometimes there was 11. And maybe there's different rules. Maybe there's like a balance between hunters versus props, or maybe it is always all props versus one hunter, because it would be really easy to catch people then, because the maps are fairly small. So that ping would probably really work early game, because you'd be surrounded by guys and you can just lob bombs around and you die quite easily. So, especially if you're a little puny sandbag like me. There's probably a lot of questions that should be answered if I'd done a better job. But yeah, I just wanted to play, and as I was playing, I just wanted to play more. So, yeah.
Do you think this is the type of game where I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I know that we have talked about Among Us before, and you tried it for a bit, and every time you got in, there were a bunch of people that would leave because everybody wants to be the killer, right? Yeah. So in this case, do you think, at least from your first hour, is it worth just jumping in on your own, Or is this the type of game where you need to have like 5 people that you know so that you actually can have a good time?
I had a lot of fun playing just with the randos that I found in my server room. I was wary about playing it alone, but this is, so they've solved the imposter problem from Among Us because, like you get in there with a bunch of 9-year-olds who are like, I want to be the killer. And then if they're not the killer, then they'll leave, and then other people start leaving because they're the normal people. So then you start with 10 people and you're down to 2. Game over. You know, the crew win. You know, oh great, that was exciting. I didn't even get out the menu. But in this one, it's like, no, everyone can go and hide and have fun, and then everyone can have fun, like finding your friends. So I don't know how that part works though, because at the end of the match, like props win. Like, so if I'm on the prop team, should I just not find anyone? Like, and I did try and experiment about with that bit to see, but the XP, you get XP either way. So it just pays to play on the team that you're supposed to be on. So it kind of works. They've done a real good job. And judging from reading back over the discussion page and through the updates, they've come a long way. You know, it's definitely this last one that they've added where it's like, oh, now you can play immediately as a hunter. That's just something they added recently. So 2 years later, that's just a feature. So they're definitely still working on the game, still improving it, and making these little changes. It's just a shame that the game is so not underappreciated, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like unknown. You know, it's like not a lot of people know about it. It's so cheap. It's a lot of fun, but just doesn't have a lot of players. The maximum was about 100 players. Twitch have stopped streaming it. Pretty much, maybe a few streamers a week are showing it. So, yeah, underappreciated, I think, this game.
So I think you've already answered this question. Mm-hmm. Are you going to keep playing?
Yeah, I'll have to go back, because I have to go back and find out these answers to these questions, because they are questions that I'm genuinely interested in as well. But yeah, like I said, I was just like, I just want to play this hour and like just keep going. Once I found this match, I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
It sounds like you want to try out all the maps as well.
Yeah, if there's a way to choose a map, but like I said, beggars cannot be choosers. I'll take whatever I can get.
I think perhaps
if we played it, we could go through all the maps.
Right. I think that might be the type of thing where the host might choose the map.
Mm-hmm.
In Dead by Daylight, it's very random. You never know which map you're going to get. There are some things you can use to encourage the game to give you a particular map.
Right.
But for the most part, you just take the map that you're given. And I had kind of thought with this game that it would be a similar situation. Each round, you would be in a different map and different props. But maybe it's not. Maybe it is when you host, you choose the map.
It could be. Or it could be that the map, the server owner who was hosting at that time, maybe he's like, oh no, I like this map. He keeps on hitting replay forever. What I did want to talk about, though, is, again, coming back to what our discussion on co-op games is, I like this game because, and I like this type of co-op game because I'm not playing with friends. It's so weird. I like this kind of game. That's weird. Like, I like this co-op game because I don't play with friends. But that's kind of the whole pressure of you and a friend arranging a time, and then me, of course, bailing because I've got to put my daughter to bed, or I've been working late, or I haven't made dinner yet, or something came up. Something always comes up. This kind of game, I don't have to let anyone down. I can go in, I can play it, and if I feel like leaving after 5 minutes, I can. If I meet someone and I'm suddenly like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I just want to leave. If it was me, I'd be like, oh man, I waited for you, you know, and I don't want to do that to anybody. And so this kind of game is like, if I get pissed off after 10 minutes, I'm out. No pressure at all. So this Dead by Daylight and stuff like that, good fun. I've finally I'm slowly reaching this co-op conclusion, man. Scaling the co-op mountain where I'm working out what it is that I like and what I don't like. So, this is my kind of co-op game, I think.
All right.
Do you understand what I mean?
I do. But at the same time, given that you're the person who complains that you at times you don't have people to play the board games you want to play or to do some of these other things that you want. And then to say, oh, but I also don't want to play with friends. It's a bit of a mixed message, given that I am your friend.
No, but I mean, I guess board game night is different though, because you do organize that. And if I didn't show up for board game night, yeah, that's definitely something different, isn't it? Because again, being in contact with each other and seeing each other, we get to chat with each other and stuff like that and things like that. If we did a board game on Steam, that would be a different kettle of fish for me. Yeah, that would be weird for me.
I wonder if it would. I think what you're missing is the discussion that happens in between.
Maybe.
And I'm wondering if playing something that we've played in person before, something like Pandemic, I know that you like the physical board, but I don't mind the digital one. And in fact, in some ways, I prefer the digital version just because it solves any arguing about the rules.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And there's no confusion about the rules because there's always little things about where can you actually transport, where can you build, and those kind of things that gets removed when it's the digital version. You can't fudge it. You can't change it. Yeah. It is what it is. And I wonder if you could get that discussion going. Is this the type of thing where during lockdown times in particular, that might have been good to try. But I know you're still trying to find your way through this, but it is very confusing as your friend, knowing that we have done some co-op games that have to be co-op for the Gaps channel. And that was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But then there are times where you're like, no, I don't ever want to do co-op games again. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to find your way, but it is very confusing for me to be like, well, this game would be great to do co-op with Darren if he's suddenly in the mood for a co-op game and doesn't mind scheduling a time to play. Yeah,
and that's it. Yeah, I mean that is it. It's that. So it's partly my inability to schedule time for things, and not like I'm super busy or anything like that. I think I have a problem with that. It's not like I find it hard. It's just I get all kinds of weird anxiety about that kind of stuff, man. Really, it's something in my brain. Like, I can't make plans online. I don't know what it is. I can meet you at a bar, and I'll be there. I'll never be late. But scheduling something online is just something that I just can't do.
Which is why I don't understand. I just don't understand what the difference is between meeting in person and meeting online, especially given to meet somebody in person, you have to get up, you have to shower, you have to change your clothes, you have to do all sorts of other things. You have to get there sometimes. And that is so much more stressful and time intensive. You're already sitting at your computer most of the time.
I'm on Steam 24 hours a day.
You're on Steam, but I don't want to play right now. I can't make a plan for that right now. And then I'll see you playing something else for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Which is fine, I understand, but I just get confused as to why, and obviously you're still confused as to why that is, why you need somebody in person versus somebody you already know online. If you were to do this kind of thing through people you only know online, if suddenly that makes a difference to you.
Maybe. This just turned into Darren's therapy session. Darren's co-op therapy session.
It's a very interesting scenario with what goes in your brain and why some things work and some things don't.
No, I agree. I agree. It's dumb. It is. It's weird.
Which, listeners, you don't know, but we've had similar discussions in the past, and it just keeps evolving and evolving to what we have today.
If you listen to the Head Snatchers episode, there's more on this co-op philosophy as well. So there you go.
All right, so you can't recommend it to me. Well, you can recommend it to me to play.
You definitely should play it, man. You will really get a kick out of this game.
I imagine you're recommending it to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into those if you like co-op games, like I said, where you can play with your friends, which probably will be a lot of fun, but something like that, or playing with random people. I had a good time just playing with just regular people. There's no real skill involved at all, so, and there's definitely nothing to take seriously about it. It's not like Dead by Daylight where your points matter and you've got a ranking system and you can buy cool power-ups and get new talents and kits and whatever the hell goes on in that game, but you can explain it to me later.
Apparently I'm going to have to again.
So, and for the price, you can easily get an hour of fun out of this. So if you get it on that 80, I think it's 80% sale, it goes for $1. It's on sale for $1 right now.
And would you... Oh, I guess your tags we need to talk about.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I wrote down some tags. Okay, so I've got 2 sets of tags because I really couldn't decide on them. But one of them definitely is hide and seek, if that's a tag. I'm sure it is. Another one is multiplayer, but I've put in brackets, beggars can't be choosers multiplayer. So, don't go in here thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get to play anything that I want. Well, if you want to do that, then you host, because you're not just going to walk into... It's not teaming with servers with every single play style and map.
I'm assuming the host is always the finder?
I think so. So I guess when I got kicked out of my first game, I think I was next in line. Maybe I was the second in that room, so it automatically got kicked to me. And they're like, you can take over. So I did. But then I left because, yeah, everyone had already bailed. And again, we had been playing for a while, so an hour is probably enough for some people in the same map. And then my last one is just casual, man. Casual. Like I said, there's no skill involved other than learning what the keys do. There's basically 5 keys to use. You got your WASD, space to jump, shift to sprint, and then basically 1 and 2 do the 2 skills that you need. And once you learn what they do, because at the beginning I was like, well, how do I even get into an object? I thought I was pressing E and pressing spacebar. It's like, oh, it's that skill, the one that has like the big swap icon. Okay, so once you get in that, it's easy. By your 3rd or 4th death, you know what's going on, and that's it. Rinse and repeat, but a lot of fun in the process.
And would this be a buyer's remorse or a buyer's confirmation?
Neither. This is a gift confirmation. Thank you, Justin.
Buyer's confirmation.